Today I want to share this incredible combination of beets and red cabbage. Not only are they packed with vitamins, fiber, and all that good stuff, it's so important to add variety to your diet, and this salad is a great way to do it. It's tender, crunchy, sweet, and also affordable. I'm going to show you how to turn these vegetables into a vibrant, delicious salad covered in a citrus vinaigrette, and I hope you add this to your regular rotation. And because I do stress that variety is so important, I'm going to give you more options. I also share a simple twist by swapping out the oranges for pear and using a honey mustard vinaigrette. Best part is that there are more options I'll share once we're done. Let's get started. First, I have to prepare the beets by chopping the ends off. I got these without the greens, which if you get them, cook them and eat them, super greens in my opinion. As for the beets, you can always use these raw and just shred them, but I like mine cooked. They're easier to digest and cooking brings out the sweetness. And for the really adventurous, you could always roast these. Instructions are in the description below with the recipe. I'm gonna boil these for 20 to 25 minutes. How long it takes depends on how you cut your beets. Trust me, cut them into quarters at least. These are hearty vegetables. I once had beets boiling for 40 minutes just to get them fork tender. While that's going on, I'm going to toast the walnuts a little bit on low to medium-low heat just for a few minutes to warm them up. Once that's done, I'll give them a rough chop. These will add that necessary crunch to the salad. Plus, walnuts are really good brain food, chock full of omega-3s. Next, I'm going to slice and chop up the red cabbage. It's up to you how you like it. If you have a mandolin, you can slice it if you want. Now, what I like to do is put that chopped cabbage on that warmed up pan that we had the walnuts in. I'm actually going to warm it up on low heat for just a couple of minutes. This step is totally optional, but it softens up the cabbage a bit, but you could eat it raw if you like all that crunch. I'll add a splash of water right near the end and quickly mix it up so it gives off a little steam. You don't want to saute these, nor do you want to char or cook them. I probably did this for 1 to 2 minutes on low in total. With that done, we can add the red cabbage to the bowl, which is actually a beautiful purple color chock full of anthocyanins, which reduce disease and inflammation. And 1 cup of cabbage has the same amount of vitamin C as a small orange. The beets should be finished, so I'll fish them out carefully and place them on my plastic cutting board not to stain my wood with beet juice. After they are boiled, you can sort of slide off some of their skin pretty easily if you wanted to, like I'm doing here. Speaking of which, you should always keep a little bit of that beet juice water you made, and you can always add some of that to cream cheese for a beautiful pink schmear on bagels or sourdough. Delicious and fancy. Back to the beets. I'm slicing them up into small pieces and then adding them to the bowl with the cabbage. This is a public service announcement for beets in 2 parts. 1, after you eat the salad, your pea will be a pinkish hue, almost coral. Don't be alarmed. And 2, well, let's just say Portlandia had this hilarious sketch about 911 operators assuring people they weren't dying, it was just beets.
911, where's your emergency? Are you able to breathe?
Yeah.
Is it beets?
Yeah.
Great.
Let's make the dressing, and after that, we'll put on the toppings. I'm squeezing 2 small oranges into a bowl and pouring them into a mason jar. Then I'll add 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of honey, and 1 teaspoon of maple syrup. You can use just 1 sweetener, but I really like the combination of both. Then I'll squeeze a little bit of lemon. Next, I'll add about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I'll sprinkle in some salt and shake it up. Now for a little taste test. This part is important because I needed a little more salt, some lemon, and I'm adding a little more olive oil because I like that slick feeling in the mouth. Then I'll add this to the salad and toss to coat. Now for the toppings. I'm going to cut an orange into segments. I found this technique to be the easiest for me when cutting orange segments. I discovered it when cutting hundreds of oranges for my kids as after-school snacks. Then I'm going to rough chop the mint and do a different rough chop on the parsley. Stems and all, I don't care. And I'm also going to be leaving a few larger leaves. I used to always look at parsley and mint in these kinds of salads as optional, and they are, but I've been reading so much about nutrition and food. Herbs are these quiet, unsung heroes when it comes to micronutrients, and they really bring big flavor. So optional, yes, but I say you're missing out. I'll add the orange segments and the herbs in, and as a final touch, I'm going to put a little bit of feta cheese. You can always mix it up with goat cheese instead of feta. Speaking of mixing it up, I set aside a little beets and cabbage, and I'll make a different variation to show you how versatile this salad is. In a mason jar, add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and some maple syrup and honey just like before, 1 teaspoon each. And 2 teaspoons of Dijon and a sprinkle of salt, and shake it up, and that's your honey Dijon vinaigrette. And of course, I'll taste test it, and I got this one just right, which is always fun. Dress the red vegetables and mix it up a bit, and now I'm going to add the pear instead of oranges. The pears add a delicate sweetness and crisp texture that pair beautifully with the beets and cabbage. Sorry about the play on words. I'll add some walnuts like before, and you can always substitute that for some pecans, or almonds would work here as well. And of course, next we add our unsung heroes, the mint and parsley. And as a final touch, some feta cheese. A little goes a long way, and it gives it a nice creaminess. As a final option on adding a little variety, you can always add a little bit of chickpeas for added fiber and protein. For a whole salad, don't use more than half a can. You don't want to overwhelm it with too much chickpea. You can always add dates or dried apricots for the citrus vinaigrette version, or apples for the apple cider honey Dijon vinaigrette version. That's a lot of options. Thanks for dropping a beat.